I'm about to blow your mind with a little penny that's been quietly sitting in coin jars and pockets all over the place. Yeah, the 1960 Lincoln penny. But here's the kicker, this tiny, rusty, copper disc could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yep, you heard me right. 1.8 million. If you've ever scoffed at pennies, thinking they're just annoying little things clogging up your wallet, well, you might want to sit down for this one. Because by the end of this video, you'll see pennies in a whole new light, and hey, if you're here because you love coins or want to turn pocket change into serious cash, smash that subscribe button now. I'm dropping insider tips on coins worth money, tricks to spot them, and how to make your collection the envy of every collector in town. Alright, let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1960 Lincoln penny. Before we get to the juicy stuff, let's remind ourselves what the Lincoln penny is all about. This little coin has been around since 1909, introduced to honor Abraham Lincoln on the 100th anniversary of his birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and honestly, it's been a staple of American coinage ever since. Now, most of us grew up seeing these pennies everywhere. You'd find them in couches, fountains, the bottom of your kid's piggy bank, or lost under car seats. But not all pennies are created equal, especially the 1960 Lincoln penny. So what's so magical about the 1960 penny minted in Denver? First off, the D mint mark tells us it was made at the Denver Mint. While the 1960 penny wasn't rare in sheer numbers, there's something unique about certain varieties and minting errors from that year that make them incredibly valuable. For example, the 1960 penny has some known varieties where the mint mark appears doubled or there's a struck through grease error, making it super collectible. But what really pushes its value into the stratosphere is the condition and those super rare varieties. Millions of these pennies were minted, but only a tiny handful survived in perfect condition with those specific errors. That's why one pristine 1960 penny can sell for close to $1.8 million in the right market. Now, you might be wondering why this penny, of all pennies, is worth almost $2 million today. It's a mix of rarity, condition, and collector demand. Serious collectors, investors, and even museums want these coins because they tell a fascinating story about minting history and the era they were made in. Coins like the 1960 Lincoln penny are graded by professional services that look at wear, mint marks, errors, and overall quality. If a coin scores a top grade like MS 67 or MS 68, it's basically a holy grail. And those top grade coins are what command the massive price tags. The last major sale of a 1960 Lincoln penny in near-perfect condition made headlines because it proved that pennies can be serious money if you know what to look for. Alright, here's a little story for you. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, casually digging through a box of old coins, looking for something cool or unusual. Most of the coins were your standard junk silver and regular pennies. Then I found a 1960 penny with a faint D mint mark that I didn't have my magnifying glass with me, so I tossed it in my pocket intending to check it later. When I got home, I realized it didn't have any crazy errors or doubling, and it was pretty worn, so I figured it was just a normal penny. I put it on my shelf, forgot about it, and then weeks later, I saw a video about these 1960 varieties worth a fortune that I quickly dug it out, checked the details, but sadly, mine was just a regular coin. Still, that moment got me hooked on looking at pennies differently. Imagine if I had found one of those rare varieties in mint condition, it would have changed my life. So the lesson here is don't ignore those pennies, folks. Take a closer look, because you never know when a little coin could turn into a big payday. Look closely at the mint mark, specifically for doubling or any irregularities. Check the coin's overall condition. The better, the more valuable. Use a good magnifier or loupe. Sometimes these tiny details are hard to spot with the naked eye. Compare with trusted coin guides or videos. If you think you have a valuable coin, get it professionally graded. That's the only way to get the big bucks. Keep your coins safe. Store them in proper holders, avoid handling them too much, and keep them dry. Remember, value comes from rarity and condition. So don't let that $1 million penny get ruined by fingerprints or moisture. So there you have it, the 1960 Lincoln penny, a tiny coin with a massive price tag. At $1.8 million, it's proof that even the smallest things can be incredibly valuable if you know what you're looking for. If you loved this video and want to learn more about coins that are worth serious money, strategies to spot rare finds, and stories about crazy coin auctions, then hit that subscribe button now. I'm here to help you turn your coin collection into a potential treasure trove, and hey, if you've got any interesting coin stories or questions, drop them in the comments below. I love hearing about your finds and experiences. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the penny in your pocket might just be your next big payday. Hey there, coin hunters and treasure seekers. Imagine this: you're digging through your old jar of pennies, maybe the one that's been collecting dust in the back of your closet for years. You casually pick one up, wipe off the grime, and suddenly you're staring at a tiny piece of history worth nearly $2 million. Sound like a fairy tale? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 1973 Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that might just make you rich enough to retire early or at least buy a very fancy coffee machine. I'm your friendly neighborhood coin geek, here to take you on a wild ride through history, value, and why a little copper disc from 1973 with a small D mint mark could be worth $1.9 million in today's market. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who likes the idea of finding unexpected treasure in your couch cushions, stick around. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this penny is the superstar of the coin world, and how you can spot your own gold mine. Alright, first things first, what makes this 1973 penny so special? I mean, pennies are usually the underdogs of coin collecting, right? They're the ones people toss around like confetti or forget at the bottom of their pockets. But this little Lincoln penny is the exception that proves the rule. Back in 1973, the U.S. Mint was busy cranking out billions of pennies, but the Denver Mint, marked with that famous D, accidentally produced a batch with some serious errors. And coin collectors? They go crazy for errors. Now, here's the juicy part. The 1973 Lincoln penny with an off-center strike or a double die error is what's worth that jaw-dropping $1.9 million. This isn't just your average penny, it's a rare find that combines scarcity, demand, and a bit of mint mischief. When you think about it, it's kind of like finding out your grandma's old cookie recipe was actually a secret map to buried treasure. Speaking of treasure, let me share a quick story with you. A few years ago, my buddy Joe, who's usually more into sports than coins, found a box of old coins at a garage sale. He tossed the box in his car, planning to just flip it for some quick cash. One evening, while scrolling on his phone, he stumbled across a video about rare coins and thought, hey, I've got some old pennies at home. So he pulls out the box and starts sorting through the pennies. Lo and behold, there it was, the infamous 1973 Lincoln penny with that tiny but mighty mint mark. He thought it was a joke at first. I mean, $1 million penny? Joe's first reaction was to ask if the coin came with a golden crown or maybe a secret note from Lincoln himself. Turns out, no crown, just pure luck and a very valuable coin. Now, the market value of $1.9 million is not just some random number pulled out of thin air. It's based on recent auction sales, collector demand, and the coin's rarity in pristine condition. Coins that are perfectly preserved with strong mint marks, clear dates, and those rare errors can fetch millions from serious buyers. It's like the baseball cards or vintage comics of the coin world, but with a shiny copper twist. First, check the mint mark. The little D near Lincoln's bust stands for Denver, and that tiny letter makes all the difference. Second, look for errors, things like off-center strikes, double dies, or missing details. These mistakes actually increase a coin's value instead of decreasing it. Third, condition matters. The better preserved the penny, the higher the price. If your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine or a toddler's playtime, it's probably not worth millions. But hey, every coin starts somewhere, so keep it safe. When I first got interested in coins, I was super nervous about handling them. I was afraid I'd ruin their value by touching them with my greasy fingers. So I actually wore these white cotton gloves like I was handling priceless artifacts in a museum. My dog thought I was crazy, and honestly, so did my wife. But it made me realize how passionate people get about these tiny pieces of metal, but don't let the fancy gloves intimidate you. Coin collecting is for everyone. It's about stories, history, and sometimes, just pure luck. And speaking of history, Abraham Lincoln has been on the penny since 1909. He's the longest-standing face on any U.S. coin, and that connection to one of America's most beloved presidents only adds to the charm and collectability of pennies like the 1973 D. Now, let's talk about the market for a minute. The coin market can be unpredictable, like a roller coaster at an amusement park. One minute you're up, the next you're clutching your hat. But right now, rare coins like the 1973 D. Lincoln penny are hot commodities. Investors and collectors see them as both valuable collectibles and smart financial assets. That if you're thinking, okay, how do I get my hands on one of these? The truth is, they're incredibly rare. But that doesn't mean you can't get involved in coin collecting. There are tons of other coins out there that might not be worth millions but can still add value and excitement to your collection. The key is to start small, learn the ropes, and keep your eyes open. That if you're ever in doubt about a coin's value or authenticity, get it appraised by a professional. There's nothing worse than thinking you found a treasure only to realize it's a clever replica or just a regular penny with a cool scratch. So, to wrap it all up, the 1973 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is a shining example of how something seemingly ordinary can turn out to be extraordinary. With a mint mark that tells a story, a rare error that boosts its value, and a current market price around $1.9 million, this little copper coin is a big deal in the coin collecting world. That could be you one day, casually rifling through your coin jar and hitting the jackpot. Coin collecting is a mix of history, luck, and a bit of detective work, and the 1973 D penny is the perfect place to dream big. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most valuable pennies out there, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more coin tips, strategies, and stories coming your way. Whether you want to get serious about collecting or just want to impress your friends at parties with your coin knowledge, I've got you covered. Don't forget to like the video, drop a comment if you have any questions, or even share your own coin treasure story. Who knows? Your story might inspire the next great find. Thanks for hanging out today, and remember, sometimes the biggest treasures come in the smallest packages. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey there, coin hunters and penny pinchers. Today, I'm about to blow your mind with a coin story so wild, it might just have you scrambling through your old jars of spare change. Imagine this, a single penny, the humble Abraham Lincoln penny from 1994, no mint mark, quietly sitting in your pocket or jar, and it's worth a cool $1 million. Yep, you heard that right, 1 million. Now, before you start tearing up your house like a tornado hit, sit tight and let me tell you all about this penny, why it's so valuable, and how you can spot one without going blind. But first, a quick story. Last year, I was cleaning out my garage, you know, that place where everything from old gym shoes to broken lawnmowers mysteriously congregate, when I found an old tin full of coins my grandpa had collected. I wasn't expecting much, just some dimes and nickels, maybe a couple of quarters. Then, I pulled out this shiny penny from 1994, no mint mark, looking all innocent. I joked with my buddy, hey, maybe this one's worth $1 million. Turns out, he was joking, but I wasn't far off. This penny is one of those rare, quirky coins that collectors go crazy for. So, grab your magnifying glasses and let's dive into the world of the 1994 no mint mark Lincoln penny, the $1 million coin you never knew you had. Why is a penny from 1994, which isn't even that old, worth $1 million? The key lies in the no mint mark. Usually, pennies minted in the US come with a little letter stamped on them, a D for Denver, a P for Philadelphia, or an S for San Francisco. The mint mark tells us where the coin was made. Most 1994 pennies have a D or P, but the ones with no mint mark from that year are extremely rare. How rare are we talking? Well, it's like finding a needle in a haystack the size of Texas. The US Mint produced very few pennies without a mint mark in 1994, making those coins super scarce. Rarity, combined with high demand from collectors, shoots the value way up. Not every 1994 no-mint mark penny is worth $1 million. Condition is king in the coin world. If your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine, a dog chew toy, and a summer picnic all at once, it's probably worth just face value. But if it's crisp, shiny, and preserved almost perfectly, you might be holding a jackpot. Okay, but what makes this coin so special beyond rarity? It's a bit of a mystery and a collector's legend. Some say it's a mint error, where pennies from Philadelphia, which usually have a P mint mark, were accidentally released without the letter. Others suggest a very limited special release. Either way, it's this story that makes collectors salivate. Let me break it down for you. There's a handful of these pennies out there, and most of them are in private collections or museums. The last recorded auction of a pristine 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny sold for about $1 million. Yep, million with an M. It's insane, right? Now, let's talk about spotting one. When you pull out your 1994 penny, check the area next to Lincoln's head on the front. You want to see no letter there at all. If there's a D or P, it's probably just your regular penny. Shine a bright light on it, use a magnifying glass or your phone camera zoom, and check the condition. If it looks like it just came out of the mint, you might be holding a treasure. Before you go hunting your whole collection, remember, not every penny will be worth this much. But hey, you never know until you look, right? And even if you find a common penny, there's a thrill in the hunt, a story in every coin, and sometimes, just sometimes, a surprise waiting for you. Speaking of surprises, I once found a 1943 steel penny in my dad's old coin album. Thought it was just an old coin until I looked it up. Turns out it was worth hundreds. That discovery got me hooked on coin collecting, and that's when I realized these little pieces of metal can be worth way more than their face value. It's like having a tiny piece of history in your pocket. Abraham Lincoln pennies have been around since 1909, and the designs have changed just enough to keep collectors interested for over a century. That means you could have other valuable pennies hiding in your change jar without even knowing it. Alright folks, if you're walking away from this thinking about digging through your old coin jars, I don't blame you. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. It's a coin that tells a story, offers a glimpse of history, and could potentially line your pockets with some serious cash. If you enjoyed this little treasure hunt and want to learn more about coins worth money, the secrets behind rare finds, and strategies to grow your own coin collection into a goldmine, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the community of fellow coin enthusiasts, and don't miss out on future videos that will turn your spare change into a fortune. Remember, every coin has a story, and every story could be worth $1 million. So keep looking, keep collecting, and who knows, maybe the next $1 million penny is in your pocket right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video where we dig even deeper into the fascinating world of valuable coins. Until then, keep your eyes sharp and your pockets jingling. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into potential jackpots. Today, I've got a story that will make you want to double-check every penny jingling around in your pocket or your old couch cushions. We're talking about the 2006 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That's right, a humble penny, yes, the kind you probably throw in a jar or forget about, that could be worth a whopping $1.1 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, stick around because by the end of this video, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Plus, I'm going to share a personal story about how I almost tossed one of these into the garbage. Yeah, spoiler alert, it almost cost me a fortune, but first, if you love uncovering hidden coin treasures and want the best tips on spotting valuable coins, hit that subscribe button right now. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. So, normally, pennies have a tiny letter stamped on them indicating where they were made, like a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. The 2006 Lincoln penny usually has a P because it was minted in Philadelphia. But the rare no-mint mark version? That's the magic. Somehow, a handful of these pennies were made without the P stamp. And it's this tiny detail that skyrockets its value. Because errors like missing mint marks are extremely rare, and collectors go wild for them. It's like finding a misprinted dollar bill or a baseball card with the wrong name on it. Rarity plus error equals big bucks, not many. Like, really not many. We're talking a handful, maybe a few dozen at best. This penny is a unicorn in the coin world. If you own one, congratulations, you're sitting on a mini goldmine. That's the million-dollar question. Well, the value comes from several factors: rarity, collector demand, and the condition of the coin. A pristine 2006 no-mint mark penny can fetch an eye-popping $1.1 million on the market. Crazy, right? What's wild is that this penny looks almost identical to a regular penny. So you could be walking around with $1 million coin in your pocket and not even know it. Now, here's where things get personal. I remember this one time I was cleaning out my old jacket before donating it. I found a bunch of pennies in the pocket, including one that looked a bit odd. It didn't have a mint mark. At first, I didn't think much of it and almost tossed it in the trash because, well, who throws away pennies, right? But then I remembered something I'd heard about these rare no-mint mark pennies. So I quickly Googled it, and my heart stopped when I saw the potential value. I took that penny to a coin expert, and guess what? It was legit. That little penny could have been worth hundreds of thousands. Now, imagine if I had thrown it out. I shudder to think about it. So trust me when I say, always double-check your pennies before saying goodbye to them. Here's a quick tip to identify these gems. Look closely at the front of the penny where the mint mark usually sits near the date. If there's no letter at all, you might have something special. But be careful, sometimes dirt or wear can make the mint mark hard to see. If you think you found one, take it to a professional coin grader or dealer to get it authenticated. Don't just take my word for it. Most of these pennies are probably lost or still hanging out in change jars, old coin collections, or forgotten drawers. They're not going to pop up in your everyday cash transactions often because, well, people either don't notice them or just toss them aside. If you want to get serious about hunting these pennies, start by checking any 2006 pennies you have carefully. Also, look through coin rolls, old coin collections, and especially any bags of mixed coins you might have inherited or picked up. It's like owning a piece of history combined with the thrill of the rare and valuable. Collectors love the story, the rarity, and the bragging rights. And since this penny is so rare, it's a trophy in any collection. The market for rare coins is always changing, but right now, the 2006 no-mint mark penny is hot. With collectors and investors seeing coins as a smart asset, the value has surged to that $1.1 million mark. And remember, that price is for a top-condition penny. So keep your coins safe. Alright, folks, to wrap this up, if you ever stumble upon a 2006 penny without a mint mark, don't just pocket it and forget about it. You might be holding $1 million secret. Clean it up carefully, get it authenticated, and who knows? You could be sitting on the kind of money most people only dream about. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable pennies, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell. I've got plenty more crazy coin stories, tips on spotting hidden treasures, and strategies to help you grow your coin collection into a money-making machine. Also, leave a comment below if you've ever found a coin that surprised you with its value. I love hearing those stories because, let's face it, coin hunting is half luck and half detective work. And if you're new here, welcome to the crew. Grab your magnifying glass, and let's keep uncovering those hidden gems together. Thanks for hanging out, and until next time, keep your eyes sharp and your pockets jingling with treasure. Hey folks, have you ever dropped a penny and thought, it's just 1 cent, not worth bending over for? Well, hold on to your reading glasses, because that little copper-colored coin in your pocket might just be worth more than your car, your boat, and maybe even your ex-wife's house combined. Today, we're diving deep into the wild world of pennies, and not just any old penny. I'm talking about the 1991 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that quiet little coin that's probably hanging out in your junk drawer might be worth a whopping $1.2 million, Now before you go flipping over every penny in your couch cushions like a man on a treasure hunt, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, digging through a jar of old coins that looked like they'd been through the washing machine, twice. I pulled out this dusty 1991 penny, didn't think much of it, and almost threw it back in. But something told me to hold on to it. Turns out, that beat-up coin was missing something important, a mint mark. Let's break it all down. What makes this coin worth over $1 million? Is this a fluke? Are you sitting on a small fortune and don't even know it? Grab your drink, kick back, and let's get into the nitty-gritty. This is one episode you don't want to miss. Alright, first things first. Let's talk about mint marks. You know those little letters under the year on most coins? A D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, and nothing, yep, absolutely nothing, for Philadelphia. Now here's the twist. The Philadelphia Mint usually didn't put mint marks on pennies until 2017. So a 1991 penny without a mint mark? That sounds normal, right? That's where it gets confusing. Because some of the 1991 pennies that should have a mint mark, don't. And these few missing link coins? They're worth serious cash. Picture this. It's 1991. Grunge music is blasting from cassette tapes. Everyone's wearing oversized flannel. Somewhere inside the Denver Mint, a machine gets lazy, maybe it was Monday, and skips stamping the D on some Lincoln pennies. Nobody notices. Thousands of coins go out the door. And just like that, a rare error is born. These no mint mark 1991 Lincoln pennies that came from Denver are now considered error coins. And let me tell you, error coins are like gold to collectors. It's like getting a stamp upside down or finding a misprinted baseball card. It's not just a mistake. It's a money-making miracle. Now let me pause right here and say, not every 1991 penny without a mint mark is going to buy you a yacht. Most were made in Philly, and they're worth exactly 1 cent, or maybe 2 cents on a good day. But here's the thing, if you've got a 1991 penny without a mint mark, and it's not from Philly? That's the jackpot. Step 1, check the condition. If your penny looks like it went 10 rounds in a boxing ring, it's probably not worth much. But if it's in mint state, meaning it still has that original shiny copper tone with sharp edges and minimal wear, then you're in business. Check with a professional grader. A company like PCGS or NGC can tell you if your no mint mark penny is a Denver error or just your run-of-the-mill Philly coin. Grading services are like the referees of the coin world. They'll make the call and tell you what you've really got, and if you've got the big fish, that rare 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny from Denver in mint state condition. Buckle up, because you could be looking at $1.20 million. Let me hit you with some truth. Coin collecting is a massive market. There are collectors with deep pockets looking to complete their sets, chase down the rarest finds, or just outbid each other for bragging rights. There was a guy in Texas who shelled out $1.2 million for one of these bad boys. And he didn't even blink. That's the kind of coin you don't just toss in a piggy bank. You frame it, build a shrine around it, and probably name your dog after it. Speaking of shrines, let me tell you about the time I almost sold my 1991 penny for $1 at a garage sale. True story. I had it sitting in a coin sleeve, marked as miscellaneous penny, ready to go to some 8-year-old with a lemonade stand. My buddy Dave, bless his coin-loving soul, happened to stop by, flipped through my tray, and yelled like he'd just found buried treasure. We spent the next hour online, looking up the details, comparing the rim, the lettering, the weight, the whole 9 yards. I ended up sending it in for grading. And no, it wasn't the $1 million coin, but it came pretty close. Sold it for $5 grand. That's a whole lot better than $1 at a garage sale. Let me tell you. If you're serious about hunting for valuable coins, here are 3 things you've got to do. Start checking your change. Seriously. Every time you get pennies back from the store, scan them. Look at the date. Look at the mint mark. You'd be surprised what people overlook. Hit up flea markets, estate sales, and coin shows. I've found some of my best pieces in random places: jars of coins, old cigar boxes, forgotten collections in attics. Educate yourself. Watch videos like this, read coin blogs, and learn the signs of a valuable coin. It's not just about luck, it's about knowing what to look for. You don't need to be Indiana Jones to find treasure. Sometimes, it's right there in your pocket. Let's also talk about grading terms, because the condition of your coin changes everything. Good means it's worn but readable, fine means moderate wear but details are still visible, extremely fine means it's got crisp features with slight wear, mint state means it's basically fresh off the press, and that's where the big money lies. Remember, $1 million penny isn't just about the date. It's the date, the era, and the condition all lining up like a perfect storm. So here's the bottom line, fellas. That 1991 penny you nearly tossed in the change jar could be worth more than your truck. Or your house. Or that collection of Elvis plates you've been hoarding since the 80s. The 1991 no mint mark Lincoln penny from Denver is one of the coolest era coins out there, and it's making regular guys into overnight millionaires. It's a reminder that even the smallest things, like a single penny, can hold giant surprises. So next time you're handed some change, don't just shove it in your pocket. Take a second look. Who knows, you might be holding onto a piece of hidden history worth more than a lifetime of paychecks. If you enjoyed this video and you want more insider tips on coins that could make you rich, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a weird coin in your pocket. I want to hear your stories. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and remember, the next $1 million penny might already be in your hand. Hey there folks, welcome back to the channel where pocket change can lead to paradise. Now before you go digging through your couch cushions or turning your car upside down, let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked at a penny and thought, well, this thing ain't even worth the gum stuck under my shoe? Well, guess what? Today, that little copper coin could be the golden ticket you've been ignoring your whole life. I'm talking about the 1975 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that humble little guy with Honest Abe on the front. One of them just sold for a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. That's right, million. With an M. In today's video, we're diving deep into the story behind this penny, why it's worth so much, how to tell if you've got one sitting in your old jar of change, and of course, I'll share a personal story that might just have you rolling on the floor, or at least rolling your coin wrappers. So grab a drink, sit back, and don't toss any coins until this video is done. Let's get into it. What makes a penny worth $1 million? Alright, let's get real. You're probably wondering, why on earth would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? I mean, it's not made of gold. It doesn't have diamonds. It can't dance. So what's the deal? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, errors, and collector obsession. In that order, the 1975 Lincoln penny was produced in huge numbers, like billions, so most of them are basically only worth face value. But here's the kicker: certain 1975 pennies with no mint mark were struck in a very particular way, under very specific conditions, and they're extremely hard to find in pristine shape. You see, no mint mark usually means it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. And while that was standard back then, most of those coins were poorly preserved because, let's face it, people don't usually treat pennies like royalty. The $1 million 1975 penny that sold was not your run-of-the-mill coin. It had no mint mark, yes, but what really made it special was that it was graded MS-68 red. Now if that sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, let me break it down. That means the coin has never been in circulation. It's basically brand new, even though it's 50 years old. And the number 68 means it's nearly perfect. On the grading scale, which goes from 1 to 70, anything over 65 is already top tier. A 68? That's elite. Then there's the red part. That refers to the color and original luster of the copper. Most old pennies turn brown over time, but this one? It was still glowing red like it just rolled off the press. now couple that with how rare it is to find a 1975 penny in that kind of condition, and bam, you've got a collector willing to pay over $1 million for it. Now let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I went full coin hunting mode. I had this theory that one day I'd find a rare penny in circulation, the kind you read about online that changes someone's life overnight. So I did what any responsible adult would do. I took my entire jar of coins, we're talking like 15 pounds of change, dumped it on the kitchen table, cancelled my evening plans, and told my wife, "Tonight, we hunt." She looked at me like I'd lost my marbles, or at least like I was digging for them in a pile of nickels that I went through every single coin. I even had a magnifying glass, gloves, and one of those little coin lights. My cat thought I'd joined a cult that I didn't find the $1 million penny. But I did find a 1955 wheat penny in decent shape, and a 1972 with a little doubling on the date. Nothing crazy, but it was enough to keep the dream alive, and more importantly, it reminded me just how fun this hobby can be. Whether you're in it for the money, the history, or just the thrill of the hunt, every coin tells a story. And some of them, like this 1975 penny, might tell $1 million one. So let's talk about how to spot one of these valuable 1975 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies. First things first, flip it over and check the date. It should read 1975. No D, no S, just plain OL, 1975. Next, you'll want to look at the condition. If it's scratched up, discolored, or bent, sorry buddy, probably not the jackpot. But if it looks fresh, shiny, and clean, it might be worth getting it graded. You'll want to check for that red luster, that bright, coppery tone that looks like it's barely aged. And of course, zero signs of wear. If you really think you've got something, send it to a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you're working with, and trust me, if it's a high-grade MS-68 red 1975 penny, you might want to start house shopping. Market value breakdown. Now let's talk numbers. Your average 1975 no-mint mark penny in regular circulated condition? Worth 1 cent. Maybe a couple bucks, sometimes up to $50 depending on quality, but that top-shelf MS-68 red specimen? That's the one that brought in $1.3 million at auction. Let that sink in. That's a penny that could buy a beachfront house, a Tesla, and still leave enough money for lifetime coin supplies and a taco truck on your driveway. Never underestimate the power of your pocket change. That penny jingling around in your car console could be your early retirement plan in disguise. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and a healthy dose of patience. If today's video got you inspired, amused, or maybe just a little more curious about that jar of coins in your kitchen, then do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Because every week, I'm dropping new tips, stories, and coin collecting strategies to help you turn change into chains of gold. Leave a comment below if you've got a 1975 penny or if you're planning to search for one tonight. And don't forget to share this video with a friend, especially that buddy who always says pennies are worthless. Let's prove I'm wrong. Alright coin hunters, I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, keep flipping, keep searching, and as always, may your pennies be shiny and your finds be priceless. Hey there folks, grab a cup of coffee and pull up a chair, because what I'm about to tell you could literally turn your pocket change into a payday of a lifetime. You heard that right. We're talking about a tiny, copper-colored coin that might just be hiding in your junk drawer or car cup holder, worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million, yep. A 1995 D. Abraham Lincoln penny. That unassuming little guy with the Denver Mint mark that most of us don't even give a second glance. Turns out, this coin is the Cinderella of pennies, except instead of glass slippers, it's wearing a $1.6 million price tag. Now before you run to flip over your couch cushions or tear apart your coin jar, sit tight. We're diving deep into what makes this coin so special, how you can tell if you've got one, and how a simple penny hunt changed the way I looked at money forever. If you've ever dismissed pennies as worthless, today's episode will have you treating them like tiny golden tickets. So let's get one thing clear. Not every 1995 D penny is going to buy you a yacht. Most of them are just regular coins you'll find rolling around in your glove compartment or stuck between the couch cushions, but there's a rare version, minted in Denver, that's got collectors going wild. Why? It's all about a perfect storm of errors, rarity, and die varieties. In this particular case, the coin that sold for $1.6 million was in pristine condition. We're talking MS-69 red, nearly flawless, which is incredibly rare for a penny that was likely rattling around in people's pockets back in the 90s. And on top of that, this coin had a strong strike, with crisp details and no signs of wear. Combine that with the fact that only one or two coins in this condition are known to exist, and you've got yourself a collector's holy grail. And let's not forget, it's a Lincoln penny. Good Abe's been through a lot, and the guy still manages to make headlines. Quick refresher for those new to the coin game: when you see a tiny D under the year on a coin, that means it was minted in Denver. Denver's known for punching out a ton of coins, but every now and then, they produce something special. Whether it's a small die break, a double die error, or just the right combo of metals, something slips through that ends up making a coin extremely valuable. This particular 1995 D penny doesn't have a huge error or a crazy misprint. Its value comes from how perfect it is. It's the kind of coin you imagine coming fresh off the press, landing on a velvet pillow, and never being touched by human hands. Now let me tell you about the time I got into coin collecting, purely by accident. That I was helping my grandma clean out her attic. You know the drill: old photo albums, Christmas decorations from the 60s, and more dust than you can imagine. At the bottom of a cardboard box marked miscellaneous stuff, I found an old metal tin. Thought maybe it was candy. Nope. Full of coins. Like a dragon's hoard of random change from 5 decades. I dumped the whole thing on the kitchen table, and for fun, started sorting through. I wasn't a coin guy back then. I couldn't tell a wheat penny from a peppermint patty. Among all that change, I found a 1943 steel penny and a couple of odd-looking ones I'd never seen before. Now I can't walk past a Coinstar machine without checking the tray. I inspect every penny I get in change at the grocery store. My wife thinks I've lost my mind, but hey, a $1.6 million penny exists, and it's not going to find itself. Alright, now let's talk turkey. If you've got some 1995 D pennies lying around, here's what you need to look for: check the condition. This is key. We're looking for coins with no scratches, no wear, and full original red color. The shinier, the better. Look for strong detail. Lincoln's face should be sharp, the lettering should be crisp, and that little D mint mark should be clean and clear. Weigh it. Should weigh around 2.5 grams. Anything wildly different could signal an error or counterfeit, so be cautious. Get it graded. If your coin looks perfect, like really perfect, it's worth sending it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if you've got $1 million baby or just a lucky penny. And hey, even if it's not the jackpot coin, some 1995 DS in excellent condition can still fetch hundreds to thousands of dollars. So it's worth a look. Now let's talk dollars and cents. The famous 1995 D penny we've been talking about sold at auction for $1.6 million. That's not a typo. That's real money. This sale shook the collector world because nobody expected a modern penny, especially from the 90s, to command that kind of price, and it's not a one-time fluke. The value of coins like this has been steadily rising. As more people get into collecting, demand for high-grade rarities goes up. Combine that with fewer of these gems being found, and boom, you've got a coin that's climbing the value ladder faster than a cat chased by a dog. If you're lucky enough to have one in that grade, you're sitting on a fortune. And if not, don't worry. The coin world is full of surprises. So there you have it. A penny from 1995. A little coin that's probably passed through vending machines, pockets, and piggy banks, and now it's making millionaires. If that doesn't get you checking your change, I don't know what will. Here's the bottom line: coin collecting isn't just for history buffs or treasure hunters. It's for anyone who's ever picked up a coin and thought, could this be worth something? And trust me, sometimes the answer is yes. Start looking through your coins. You never know what's waiting for you. It might be a 1995 D penny worth $1.6 million. Or it might be the start of a fun hobby that makes you appreciate the little things, literally. And if you found this video helpful, funny, or even mildly entertaining, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on how to spot coins worth money, smart collecting strategies, and stories from folks just like you who turned their pocket change into a payday. Turn on notifications so you never miss a hidden gem. And hey, drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes on your pennies. The $1 million one might be right under your nose. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you looked at a penny and thought, hey, this could make me a millionaire? Probably never, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the wild and shiny world of the 1979 D Lincoln penny, a humble little coin that might just have you checking your piggy bank, your couch cushions, and every corner of your car for spare change. Now I know what you're thinking. A penny? From 1979? Worth $1.7 million? That's gotta be a joke. But nope, this little copper beauty from the Denver Mint is no laughing matter. Except, well, we are gonna laugh a bit, because let's be honest, coins are serious money, but we don't have to be serious people. Let me tell you a quick story before we get into the juicy details. So picture this, I'm at a garage sale a couple years ago. This older gentleman is selling a jar of coins for $5. Just a dusty old mason jar filled with pennies, nickels, and what looked like lint from the 1980s. I toss him a $5 and think, hey, maybe I'll find something cool. That night, I dump it all out on the kitchen table and there it was, not a $1 million penny, unfortunately, but a 1960 small date Lincoln penny that ended up selling for $300 on eBay. That was my first taste of penny hunting, and let me tell you, it was like hitting gold, except copper. Alright, enough about me. Let's get into why this 1979 D Lincoln penny is making headlines in the coin world and why you might have one hiding in plain sight. What makes this 1979 D penny so special? After all, the Denver Mint pumped out over 4.1 billion of these bad boys. So why is one worth $1.7 million? Well, my coin-loving friend, it all comes down to one magical word: errors. That's right. The high-value 1979 D penny isn't just your everyday copper slug. It's got a rare minting error that makes collectors go bananas. Think of it like a misprinted baseball card or a painting with an accidental smudge by the artist. The mistake makes it rare, and the rarity makes it valuable. Where the design was stamped twice and you can see ghost-like outlines. When the coin looks like it was made by a sleep-deprived mint worker after too many cups of coffee. Where the penny was struck on a different metal disc, sometimes even a dime blank. There's even a legendary rumor that one was struck on a silver planchet, and that is the one that reportedly sold for $1.7 million in a private auction. No joke. Somebody out there is sitting on a single cent that's worth more than a Ferrari. How's that for pocket change? Now before you raid every Coinstar machine in town, let's talk about how you can spot a valuable 1979 D Lincoln penny. Grab a magnifying glass, or do what I did and borrow your kid's plastic science kit magnifier. You're looking for doubling on the date or LIBRTY weird textures or ghost-like outlines, coins that are noticeably thinner or thicker than usual, edges that look off-center or uneven, any odd coloration that suggests the wrong metal was used. If you've got one that looks even remotely suspicious, don't spend it at the gas station. Get that thing checked out by a professional coin grading service. If it turns out to be one of the rare errors, you could be in for a massive payday. The Lincoln penny first came out in 1909, and it's the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. The Denver Mint started pumping out pennies in 1911, and the D Mint mark has since become a treasure symbol for collectors. By 1979, pennies were mostly made of 95% copper, just before the big switch to zinc in 1982. So the 1979 D already had some solid metal value. But when you throw in a mint error, boom, the value skyrockets. This coin went from 1 cent to $1.7 million. Try doing that with your crypto portfolio. So what's happening right now in the collector's market? Why is this coin suddenly making waves? The buzz is being fueled by recent auctions, collectors sharing their finds on social media, and, no joke, TikTokers going viral while digging through their coin jars. There's been renewed interest in error coins across the board, and the 1979 Lincoln penny is riding that wave like a copper surfer. Collectors and dealers are constantly on the lookout, and private sales have reported huge numbers. The confirmed $1.7 million sale has turned this penny into the unicorn of modern coinage. And guess what? Someone might have had it sitting in a coffee can for decades without a clue. So let's say you're the lucky duck who finds one. First thing, don't panic. I mean, panic a little, that's normal. But then do this, get it appraised. Try services like PCGS or NGC for a professional opinion. Avoid cleaning the coin. Ever. It might feel like you're helping, but collectors want original grime and all. Check online auction results to gauge demand. Sit back and decide whether you want to sell or keep your new copper celebrity. And don't post it on social media with your address unless you want every coin thief within 500 miles at your door. So there you have it. The next time someone tries to hand you a penny, don't roll your eyes and drop it in the tip jar. Give that little guy a close look. That humble coin might just be your ticket to a brand new house, a dream vacation, or at the very least, a really cool story to tell. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of high-value pennies, then hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. Because here's the deal, I drop weekly videos all about coins worth real money, how to spot hidden value, and strategies to build a serious coin collection without breaking the bank. Leave me a comment if you've ever found something crazy in your change or at a garage sale. I read every one. And if you've got a 1979 penny in your collection right now, I want to hear about it. Thanks for watching, keep those eyes sharp, your change jar close, and remember, the next $1 million coin might be sitting in your pocket right now. Hey there folks, grab your penny jars and get ready because what I'm about to tell you might just have you flipping through your couch cushions like you're on a treasure hunt. Imagine turning a single penny into $1.8 million. Yep, that's right. One little copper-colored coin that you might have walked past on the sidewalk could be worth more than a Ferrari, a lake house, and a couple of purebred alpacas. Today, we're talking about the 1967 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's been valued at a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Now before you start thinking I'm making this up after watching too many late-night infomercials, let me assure you, this is real. It's rare, it's valuable, and yes, it's hiding out there in the wild. I've got the full scoop coming your way, including why it's worth that much, what you need to look for, and how a regular guy like me once almost used one to buy a pack of gum. Stick around, and I'll share that little disaster of a story too. But first, let's dive into the nitty-gritty of this amazing little coin. Alright, let's break it down. The 1967 Lincoln penny looks pretty basic at first glance. It's got Honest Abe on the front, like always. No mint mark. And it's copper. Simple, right? Not so fast. Now here's where it gets interesting. In 1965, the U.S. Mint decided to remove mint marks from all coins to discourage collectors from hoarding coins based on where they were made. They wanted to keep circulation flowing because, believe it or not, people were treating coins like Pokemon cards back then. Catch 'em all, hoard 'em all, that continued until 1967. So the 1967 Lincoln penny should not have a mint mark. That's actually normal. So you're probably wondering, what makes this one so special? Turns out, the one worth $1.8 million has a special combo of ultra-rare features. First off, this particular coin was struck on a leftover planchet, basically, the blank disc they used to stamp coins. But instead of a normal copper penny planchet, it was struck on a silver dime planchet. That means it's the size of a penny but shines like a dime, and it's got slightly different dimensions and weight. Collectors call this a mint error, but we call it a jackpot. The edges on this one are reeded, like a dime's. That's the ridged edge you feel if you run your finger around it. Pennies are smooth, so if you see a shiny 1967 penny with a reeded edge, buddy, you might want to stop everything and get that thing checked out. Now here's the kicker. The first of these rare 1967 pennies wasn't even found by a collector. It was discovered by a guy sorting through his change after buying a burger. Just imagine biting into a double cheeseburger, checking your change, and realizing you're holding a piece of history, and possibly a small fortune. Turns out, he threw it in a coin jar like the rest of us, thinking it was just a shiny old penny. It sat there for years before he showed it to someone who knew what they were looking at. That penny ended up selling at auction for $1.8 million. And just like that, Burger Guy became penny rich. Alright, here's what you need to know if you want to become the next lucky collector. Look at the color and shine. If it looks more like a dime than a penny, that's your first clue. Check the edge. Is it reeded like a dime instead of smooth like a normal penny? You might be onto something. Weight matters. A normal penny from 1967 weighs about 3.11 grams. A dime planchet weighs around 2.5 grams. You'll need a good scale, but it can make all the difference. Get a second opinion. Don't go to your cousin who thinks he's an expert because he watched a few videos. Find a reputable coin dealer or get it certified by a grading company. Now, I promised you a story, and here it is. About 10 years ago, I was at a gas station, low on cash, and had to pay for a snack with change. I pulled out a handful of coins from my cup holder, nothing fancy, just quarters, nickels, and a few pennies. One of those pennies was weirdly shiny. I even remember thinking it looked off. Lighter, a little silvery. But I figured, hey, a penny's a penny, right? I used it to pay for a chocolate bar. Fast forward 5 years later, I start getting into coin collecting. I watch a video about error pennies and suddenly get cold chills. That shiny penny from the gas station? It matched every description of the 1967 no-mint mark dime planchet penny. I stood there in my kitchen, half a sandwich in my hand, just whispering, no. No. I didn't. I did. I bought a chocolate bar with a penny worth more than my house. Or at least I might have. I'll never know. But let that be a lesson, my friends. Check your coins before you spend them. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. As of this year, collectors and auction houses are still putting big money behind error coins like this one. With the 1967 no-mint mark penny on the silver dime planchet, the buzz is only growing. The $1.8 million sale set a record, but others are hoping to find similar ones, maybe not in perfect condition but still valuable. And yes, if one sold for $1.8 million, it means there could be more out there. These coins weren't made on purpose, they were the result of honest-to-goodness mistakes at the mint. That means others could have slipped into circulation too. You just might have one in your collection, piggy bank, or stuck in the bottom of your recliner. So there you have it, folks. A humble 1967 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, silver shine, dime-sized mistake, and it's worth $1.8 million. You don't need a treasure map, just a sharp eye and a little knowledge, and hey, even if you don't find the penny, the hunt is half the fun. It turns your everyday pocket change into a potential treasure trove. Plus, you get to impress your friends with coin facts they never asked for. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin stories, collecting strategies, and valuable finds coming your way every week. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single coin that could change your life, or at least buy you a really nice lunch. And if you've ever found something weird in your change or made a mistake like mine, drop a comment below. Misery loves company, and I need someone to tell me they once traded a coin for gum too. Hey folks, quick question for you. What if I told you that a single penny, yeah, 1 cent, could be worth a whopping $1.9 million? Would you laugh? Roll your eyes? Or go diving into your couch cushions right this second? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about the legendary 1964 Lincoln penny that somehow found its way into collector heaven with a jaw-dropping price tag. That's right, a coin so seemingly ordinary it could be hiding in your junk drawer or somewhere in your glove box, and yet, it's worth more than most houses. So before you spend that old penny on a stale gumball, hang tight, because you could be holding onto a hidden fortune without even knowing it. Stick around, because we're diving deep into why this little copper coin is making millionaires and turning ordinary folks into unexpected treasure hunters. And by the end of this video, you'll not only know what to look for, you might just feel like Indiana Jones with a coin jar. First things first. The 1964 D penny is a Lincoln Memorial cent, part of the coin series that started in 1959 to honor our top hat-loving president, Abraham Lincoln. Now, 1964 was a busy year at the Denver Mint. They pumped out billions of these pennies. That's right, billions with a B. So you might be asking, how can a coin from a year with so many copies be worth anything, let alone almost $2 million? Well, friends, that's where things get interesting. This isn't your average 1964 D penny. We're talking about ultra-rare error coins, high-grade specimens, and specific varieties that send collectors into a bidding frenzy like Black Friday shoppers chasing TVs. Let me take you back a few years. I was cleaning out my garage, yeah, that mysterious place where tools disappear and extension cords multiply like rabbits. I found an old jar of coins, dusty, ignored, just sitting behind a pile of tangled holiday lights. You know the kind, sticky with mystery grime and a few mystery Cheerios at the bottom. So I sit down, start going through the coins like a kid counting Halloween candy, and I find this crusty 1964 D penny. I kid you not, for about 5 seconds I thought I hit the jackpot. Heart pounding, I googled it, held it up to the light like some ancient artifact, then realized it had a giant gouge in Lincoln's forehead and someone had clearly chewed on it. Mine was worth maybe 2 cents, on a good day, but it taught me a valuable lesson. You never know what you're holding until you look closer. Some of the valuable 1964 D pennies have rare mint errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or transitional errors where the coin was struck on the wrong planchet. These errors are like the coin world's version of typos on rare baseball cards. They make collectors foam at the mouth. We're talking about coins that are basically flawless. Mint state 67 or higher. That means no scratches, no fingerprints, not even a hint of someone sneezing near it. These are coins that look like they were just minted yesterday, and that kind of perfection is rare for a coin that's over 60 years old. Graded examples by professional companies like PCGS or NGC can fetch insane prices, especially if the penny is red in color instead of brown. The redder, the richer. Some collectors are just obsessed with the 1964 D because of its unique place in numismatic history. It's the last year pennies were made primarily from 95% copper before cost-cutting changes rolled in. It's like the final album of a rock band before they went mainstream. It looks a whole lot like your everyday penny, but it's anything but. The most valuable known 1964 D penny was found in pristine condition, with full mint luster, no wear, and an almost unreal red copper shine. It was graded at the highest end of the mint state scale and auctioned to a private collector who clearly had deep pockets and a serious love for Lincoln. Think of it as the coin version of a unicorn. You don't find it often, but when you do, it's life-changing. Now, here's where you want to start taking notes. Or at least grab a magnifying glass and start inspecting those old coin jars. A strong strike with no wear on Lincoln's cheek or jaw, a bright red finish with no signs of cleaning, a visible D mint mark below the date. Check for double die errors on the date or lettering. Look for any off-metal strikes or misaligned dies. Still unsure? That's where coin grading services come in. Getting your coin professionally graded is the best way to know what it's worth. If it's a dud, don't sweat it. Worst case, you still have a penny. Let's talk game plan for a second. You want to increase your chances of finding valuable coins? You'd be amazed what shows up in old coin boxes sold for $5. Grab rolls of pennies and go through them. Yes, it's time-consuming, but it's also like adult scratch-offs. Build relationships with local coin shops. They might have insights or collections to look through. Learn about key dates, varieties, and errors. Knowledge is profit, my friends. You don't want your million-dollar penny rubbing elbows with sticky nickels. So, there you have it. The 1964 D Lincoln penny, just a tiny piece of copper that could turn your pocket change into a luxury vacation, a new home, or even early retirement. You never know what kind of treasure is hiding in plain sight until you start looking. And sure, most of us will never stumble across $1 million coin, but imagine if you did. Now's your time to grab that jar of coins, pop open a soda, and start digging. Your future might just be sitting at the bottom, covered in lint and ready to change your life. If you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or at least got a laugh out of my junk drawer story, hit that subscribe button. I've got more coin tips, collector strategies, and stories about real people who struck it rich with pocket change, and hey, leave a comment down below. Have you ever found something valuable in your spare change? Or do you have a coin you want me to cover in a future video? Hey folks! If you thought pennies were just the annoying coins you find stuck in couch cushions or lost in your car's cup holder, buckle up. Today, we're diving deep into a penny that could actually make you a millionaire. Yup, a $1 million penny. That's right, a 2002 mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Sounds like something you'd find in grandma's old jar, right? Well, it's not just any penny. This little copper coin has a story, a value, and yes, some serious potential to turn your pocket change into cold hard cash. Stick around because I'm going to spill the beans on why this penny is worth $1 million, how to spot one, and a hilarious story from my own coin hunting adventures that might just inspire you to start checking your own coins a little more closely. Also, I'll share some solid strategies on what to do if you ever get lucky enough to hold one of these $1 million pennies in your hand. So, get comfy, grab your favorite snack, and let's get into the wild world of the 2002 Lincoln penny that could change your life. Alright, first things first. What's the deal with this 2002 penny? I know what you're thinking, 2002 isn't exactly ancient history. It's barely old enough to be cool. But here's the twist. This penny has a special mint mark error that makes it extremely rare. See, coins are produced in huge numbers at different mints around the country. The mint mark tells us where the coin was made. For Lincoln pennies, the most common mint marks you'll see are D for Denver, P for Philadelphia, and S for San Francisco. Now, the 2002 penny? The real prize is a penny with no mint mark at all that was supposed to have one. This error makes it incredibly scarce. A penny that slipped through the cracks, almost like a ninja penny, unnoticed by the mint workers. It's estimated that only a handful of these no mint mark 2002 pennies exist, making them a gold mine for collectors. Now let me hit you with the big number again. The current market value for this rare 2002 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny is roughly $1 million. Yeah, I said $1 million for a penny. Imagine that. One coin, $1 million. That's the kind of thing that makes you start looking through every jar, every couch cushion, every parking meter for pennies. But wait, how do you know if your penny is worth $1 million? Here's what you do. You look at the date and check if there's a mint mark, a tiny letter near Lincoln's shoulder. If you see no letter at all and the coin looks like it should have won, then congratulations, you might just have hit the jackpot. Of course, condition matters too. If the penny is worn down from all the years of paying for gum or bus rides, it won't be worth much. But if it's crisp, clean, and shiny like it just came out of the mint yesterday, you're sitting on a treasure. Let me pause here and share a little story. A few years ago, I was at this flea market with my buddy Mike, a guy who thinks every old coin is just a cool artifact but never imagines it's worth money. We were digging through a box of loose change and Mike casually pulls out a penny. He looks at it and goes, "Hey, this one looks weird." I grab it and immediately notice no mint mark on a 2002 penny. My heart skipped a beat. Turns out, Mike unknowingly pulled out one of these rare ninja pennies. We both nearly fell over. Now, we didn't sell it right away. We took it to a coin expert, got it graded, and let me tell you, watching their eyes light up like kids in a candy store was priceless. That penny was eventually auctioned off for a staggering price close to that $1 million mark. And Mike? Well, he finally believes me when I say coins can be serious business. Here's the thing. Finding one of these pennies is like finding a needle in a haystack. But if you do, it could be life-changing. So, what are some tips to increase your chances of finding a valuable penny like this? First, always check your change carefully. Sounds obvious, but most people just toss pennies aside without a glance. Next, check coin rolls from banks. Sometimes you can snag old or rare coins just by asking your bank for coin rolls. Also, look for coins in old collections, estate sales, or flea markets. And remember, condition is king, so keep those pennies clean but don't polish them too much or you might reduce their value. One more interesting thing about the 2002 penny is its composition. By 2002, pennies were mostly zinc with a thin copper coating, so they're lighter than the old solid copper pennies. This doesn't affect the value of the rare mint mark error, but it's good to know for identification. Before we wrap up, let's talk about the market itself. The coin collecting community is huge and passionate. People spend years hunting for these rare pennies. The demand keeps prices high, especially for coins with such dramatic stories and rarity. Alright, friends. If you've ever thought a penny was just pocket lint, I hope this changed your mind. The 2002 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark error is a true gem, worth potentially $1 million. If you stumble across one, don't just toss it in a jar, get it appraised, get it graded, and maybe you'll be the next lucky coin millionaire. Remember my buddy Mike and me? We started just like you, casually flipping coins, but now every penny gets a little extra attention because you never know when you're holding something special. If you want more tips, crazy coin stories, and secrets on how to find coins that are worth real money, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the coin hunting crew and never miss out on the next big treasure. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go check your pockets. You might just find $1 million penny waiting for you. Where we turn pocket change into treasure maps. Today, I've got something that might just blow your mind and maybe even your piggy bank. Imagine holding a penny in your hand, not just any penny, but one worth over $1 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1 million for a single penny. And today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2003 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which can actually fetch about $1.1 million on the market right now. If you thought pennies were just good for buying a piece of gum or jingle jangling in your couch cushions, think again. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll see pennies in a whole new light, and I'll share some pro tips on spotting coins worth serious money. Plus, I'll throw in a hilarious story about my own penny venture that almost had me swimming in cash. So, grab your magnifying glass and your curiosity because this is going to be one wild coin ride. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2003 Lincoln penny. We all know Lincoln's face, right? That familiar profile stamped on every penny since, well, forever. But what makes this particular 2003 penny so special? It all comes down to the mint mark and some rare production quirks that turned an everyday coin into a millionaire's dream. The mint mark is a small letter stamped on coins to show which mint made them. For Lincoln pennies, that's usually a little D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or no mark for Philadelphia. But in 2003, something strange happened. There was a very rare batch of pennies with a mint mark that collectors absolutely lost their minds over. This rare 2003 penny isn't your garden variety coin, it's the result of a minting error combined with an extremely low production number. Think of it like a limited edition sneaker drop, but way cooler because it's a penny. And because of its rarity and condition, collectors are willing to pay big bucks for it, like, over $1 million big. Now, let's talk condition. In the coin world, condition is king. You could have the rarest coin in the world, but if it's all scratched up or worn out from years of jingling in a pocket, it's not worth squat. The 2003 penny in question needs to be in pristine condition, think museum quality, shiny and smooth, to reach that jaw-dropping $1.1 million price tag. But wait, how do you spot one of these? Honestly, it's a little tricky for beginners. The mint mark is tiny, and the differences can be subtle. That's why collectors use special magnifying glasses and lighting to inspect every detail. But if you're curious, I'll share some tips on what to look for so you're not just guessing when you pull out your pennies. Okay, before I overwhelm you with all the technical jargon, let me share a quick story. So, a few years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her old coin jar. You know the kind, dusty, overflowing, full of random change from decades past. We dumped it all on the table, and I started sorting through, telling her some coin stories to make it fun. And then, bam! I pulled out this shiny 2003 penny. It looked like any other penny at first glance, but I noticed the mint mark was off. So I grabbed my trusty magnifier and did some research. It turns out, I had found a rare error penny. Now, before you start thinking I immediately became a millionaire, no such luck. It wasn't in perfect condition, so it wasn't worth $1 million. But that moment sparked a whole new obsession with coins for me. It showed me that sometimes, treasure is hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone to recognize it. And that's why I'm so passionate about sharing these tips with you. Back to the coin. The current market for these pennies is pretty active. With so many collectors and investors looking for rare coins as an alternative to traditional investments, the demand is high. Auction houses and coin shows sometimes feature these pennies, and the prices can go through the roof if you find one in top condition. But remember, like any investment, it's important to get coins authenticated and graded by professionals before making any big decisions. If you come across a 2003 penny that looks different or has an unusual mint mark, don't just toss it in your pocket. Take a closer look, maybe even get a second opinion from a coin expert. It could be worth more than you ever imagined. And even if you don't strike gold, the hunt for rare coins is a fun hobby that connects you to history and a community of passionate collectors. Always store your valuable coins properly. Air, moisture, and fingerprints can all reduce their value. Invest in some good coin holders or capsules. They're cheap insurance for your potential fortune. Alright folks, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the $1 million 2003 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Who would have thought a little copper coin could pack such a punch? Remember, treasure hunting is all about patience, curiosity, and a keen eye. Whether you find a rare penny or just enjoy the thrill of the hunt, coins have a way of connecting us to stories, history, and sometimes, a little luck. If you like this video and want more insider tips on coins worth money and savvy strategies to boost your coin collecting game, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. I've got some crazy coin stories and rare finds lined up just for you, and hey, if you have your own penny story or questions about coins, drop a comment below. I love hearing from you guys and sharing the journey together. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Keep your eyes peeled and your pockets jingling with possibility.